Awesome. Awesome. Roseanne, it's good to see you. Karen, Beth, Michael, great to see you. Thanks for joining us today. Feel
Hey
free
guys.
to take your video, or let's see you. We love to see you guys. Put your videos on. Come say hi. I promise we will not attack you.
Well, I'm gonna eat lunch, so
Woohoo.
I'll probably go off video.
No problem. Hi, Beth. I see you. I see you.
Hi there. I am not presentable today as much, but I am definitely listening.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. Awesome. Well, Carrie, are you able to live stream in the workplace from where you're at?
I am. I'll be live streaming it in about 30 seconds, and I'll
Perfect.
also be on camera at that time. And I was thinking we can have everybody, just as a reminder, we like to have everybody chat in the chat box where you serve clients, just for referral purposes, because we get to know each other so much here in our masterminds, and it would be nice to know where we can send referrals to. So if you want to chat that in the chat box, and I know we're probably going to have a few more people joining, but we can get started in just about 30 seconds if you're okay with that, Aaron. Just to make sure we have a few more people.
Yeah.
Awesome. Are you coming from or to us from home today, Aaron? You're in like a different room.
Yes, I'm in Phoenix right now. So this is the house that's just getting done with remodel. So how's the sound? Is it any good?
It's a little echoey, but you're okay.
Don't know if I can do much about that.
I expect you to do something in 30 seconds. Go get some blankets. I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding.
No.
You're fine. It'll sound great.
All right.
Okay.
I just won't yell a lot.
No problem. So let me do I'll do a quick introduction for you, Aaron. So if everybody can just put in the chat, introduce yourself, let us know where you're at, where you're joining us today. That would be great. We'll live stream in Workplace so that people can join us live too. And today we have Aaron with us, and Aaron is an agent in Arizona. He's an agent in Washington, and he is also the director of new agent education at BTG Real Estate in Arizona, which means that all new agents that come into his team, he trains them and teaches them not only how to go, not only how to raise the standard of professionalism within the industry, but how to go from being an agent to a professional, and then taking that amazing leap from being a professional to being an entrepreneur. And so he's joining us today. We're going to talk about how to motivate yourself, how to coach your agents, and most importantly, how do we keep ourselves motivated, especially during difficult times or transitions in today's market with a lot of things that are changing and evolving. How do we continue to hold ourselves accountable? How do we continue to motivate ourselves and do what's necessary, both personally and professionally? So Aaron, without further ado, I will let you take over, and thank you. Thank you so much for being here again today.
All right, thank you. I'm excited to be here. I do apologize for the echo, but I'm in my house in Phoenix, which just got remodeled, so there's no furniture, and it's been an adventure the last couple of days being here, getting everything settled in. So real quickly in the chat, I always like to start with what you're grateful for. So put in the chat there something that you are grateful for. Let me see what we got there. Don't be shy. Kiddos, love it. Family, very good. Thank you, Beth. So my family, summer and sun, excellent. Great. Well, I'm excited to be here. I'm going to put, this morning we're talking about living in Florida. Good. We're talking about new agent education. We're talking about how to keep them motivated, how to start out with them, and how to keep yourself motivated in that. we're going to do what I call, we're going to talk about the success toolkit that we have. And there's going to be 6 things in that toolkit that we're going to unpack fairly quickly today, because actually each one of these things in the toolkit is a class. So I'm going to give you an overview of it, give you a taste of it. And if you do want to hear more about that or get more in detail, you can contact me and we can work through some of that. But it's some exciting stuff that I am excited to present to you guys. Now, the first thing I want you to do is I'm going to put a video here in the chat. And I want you to go ahead and take a look at it. And click on that, watch it. When you're done, give me a thumbs up. You might need to watch it twice. Yeah, when you're done watching it, go ahead and give me a thumbs up in there. Has everybody seen it? Had a chance to watch it? So the first time I saw this video, there's so many analogies I could make to this. Never needed anyone for nothing. Yep. Have you ever had that feeling in your life? What does that make you think of? And then specifically, have you ever had that feeling when you're trying to coach somebody like a new agent? Where you're like, just do it like this, and they're stuck in their ways or they're not listening, and you get them going on the right path, and all of a sudden they're right back in the same thing again. Anybody, just raise your hand if you've ever, for the 3 people that are on here that are live, ever felt that way? Yes. And so this success toolkit that we're going to talk about this morning will help us move through that. And it really starts to address the things from the very, very basic that they're going to need to be a successful agent, to the things that the things that we're going to have to practice on a daily, consistently. So I wanted to start off with, there's a study done by Schwartz and McCarthy that was published in the Harvard Business Journal back in 2007. And it's called Manage Your Energy, Not Your Time. And so basically it talks about how there are 4 different energies that we need to learn how to manage. It's the physical energy, the emotional energy, the mental energy, and the spiritual energy. And I think, let me put this, I'll go ahead and put this in the chat real quick so you can have that. So these are the types of energies that we need to learn how to manage and how to work with. And the things that we're going to talk about today are going to help us help our new agents and ourselves manage these different areas so that we can see success happen in our businesses and continued success. So the first one is physical energy. And this is about just, like it says, the physical. It's about your sleep habits. It's about your working out. It's about what you're eating, what you're not eating, and how to keep yourself physically in a place that you can be successful, because that affects everything that we have. And the second one that's on there is emotional energy. We all have another person that lives inside our head that tells us stories all day long. And so it's about learning how to recognize those stories and how to be emotionally neutral in so many different things so you can work through some stuff. And that's going to be one of the things we're going to unpack in this. The third one there is mental energy. And this is really about time blocking and learning how to stay mentally focused on things that you need to do now without being just completely bombarded and allowing yourself to go 15,000 different directions at once. And so we're going to unpack that in one of these, in the kit. And then the last one there is called spiritual energy. And this isn't about any specific type of religion or dogma or anything. It's about just the energy, the spiritual energy of life that happens when we find those things that give us joy or that bring us back to center. So we're going to talk about that and how that becomes a crucial part of who we are and what we do. And if we can manage these things, it's going to help us with everything else. So the first thing that I want to bring out of the toolkit is consistency. The very first thing that we need to teach and that we need to have in our own life, but teach our new agents, is that consistency and the rest of the things to follow are king and queen. I mean, they are it. Without consistency, none of this is going to happen. And so you need to learn that that consistency is so, so important. And the second thing that you're going to pull out is routine, your morning rituals. How many of you guys have, and you can put it in the chat there, give me a thumbs up on your screen, how many of you guys have a consistent morning routine that you do? Yeah, Carrie, I figured Carrie would. Haley does, yes. That morning routine and the habits that come out of that will dictate the rest of your day. And one of the things that I nail down with my new agents and that we talk about a lot is, what is your morning routine? What are you doing to set yourself up for success? And then if you're not doing these things, asking yourself why, and being very, very honest with yourself about that. Those of you on here, and you can unmute if you'd like to, what are the morning routines that you do? What's kind of the rhythm that you get yourself into? How early do you get up? What does your day look like when you started off?
I'll share. I get up every morning at 5:05. It's a very random time, but I like the number 5. So 5:05, I do always stretching, always meditation. If I can get in some journaling that involves just talking about what I'm grateful for, I do the 5-minute journal. And I did that consistently for a year. I'd like to pick up that habit again, but the 5-minute journal, if anybody is looking for just a way to show appreciation and gratitude every single day, the 5-minute journal is a fantastic buy. So those are things that I implement on a daily basis. And then I always listen to something motivating, either a book, a podcast, while I'm doing my makeup, which is like a good 30 minutes in the bathroom. So I'm always just feeding my mind with something positive, calming myself down, and just preparing myself to launch forward in a positive mindset in my day.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else have some similar type things that they do, or different things that you do in the morning to get yourself ready?
Don't be shy, you guys. I do much of the same. I wake up with an immediate gratitude journal. It's right on my bedside, so I don't get out of bed without doing it. That has been something I've done for a long, long time now. Usually the gratitude kind of gets me in a, maybe a state of kind of just giving thanks and prayer, and it's not long. It's just consistent. And then I typically am doing something to move my body, which oftentimes also includes listening to something like an Audible or a podcast or something that I want to hear, because then I can kind of do 2 things at once, which I used to always listen to music. I love music. And I was encouraged to listen to something else other than music while I was working out, because I was at one point also working out a lot longer than I am today. And I didn't know if I would like it. And I actually started doing it. And at first it was a little bit odd for me because I was so used to listening to music, and I ended up really, really loving it. In fact, more than probably music, which is hard for me to believe. So that has been kind of my routine. After that, I always have coffee with my husband. And, during school, see my son off so I can have some family time. My idea is to fill all the buckets in the morning before the day gets chaotic, no matter what, even if just for a couple of minutes. And then it's filling body, mind, soul, heart, all the things. If you can do that, even if it were 5 minutes, on most of those things, and a 15-minute walk around the block, I have helped people who have started with something very basic like that, but where it kind of checked all the boxes, and it's been very, very powerful. Because you're correct, Erin, how you start your day, either proactively or reactively, hair on fire or in control, intentional and purposeful or not, makes a huge difference because it will leak into the entire day.
Yeah, that is so true. I think Roseanne there is giving some head nods there, so it looks like she's probably in agreement with that.
Yeah, so, well, now I'm sick, but then I was in Orlando and I usually wake up around 4:30 and work out. And I haven't been for the past week, now into this week because I'm sick. So I can tell a difference. I feel like I'm like completely crazy. My hair's on fire constantly and making sure I get everything done. And when I work out early, it's not like that.
Yeah, it's thank you for sharing that. It's so important how we do to set ourselves up for success. And if we can take new agents and teach them that at the very, very beginning of their career, it's like you can learn how to objection handle all you want. You can memorize all the scripts, you can go all the open houses, you can do all that stuff, but you're not going to have a successful, consistent career all stop. You will burn out and you will get bitter and you'll be driving Uber, or something else. And I've seen it because I remember when I was almost that person, back 8-9 years ago when I first started off on this. And so having that morning routine, Roseanne, were you going to say something else? It looked like I kind of cut you off there, and I apologize. Okay, just want to make sure. So having that morning routine, my routine looks similar to some of yours. I start off with, I wake up at 5:30 or at 6. I get up, I make myself some peppermint tea. I put out my journals, my affirmation journal. I put out my other journal. I sit there and first thing I do is I go through my affirmations. I've got a book right here. I've got a bunch of them. This one's, you can see how worn it is. This is like age, and it's just got page after page of affirmations on here. And every day I put more, and I go through this, and every day I sit there, and I mean, if I can be, completely honest with you guys and transparent, I mean, this is what it says. It's like, I am in awe. I am clarity. I am love. I am focused. I am a good father. I'm an amazing lover. I'm a beautiful fiance. I am rich in love and family and money. I'm a great realtor. I am me. I'm a money magnet. I mean, these are the things that I tell myself every single day. And I've been doing this for so many years now. I can see the progression of things that I've told myself that now, because of the work that's happened that I've done, I can look at that and go, that one's no longer there. I can see the growth. I can see the change. And so, doing that, my mantras, then I'll do my journal and my meditations, where I sit there and I do energy work for myself. That's the kind of meditation that I do. There's all sorts of ones that are great. And then I do my blessings on the people around me. Then I read, take some more of my tea, work out for a little bit, even if it's 10 to 15 minutes, at least something to get the body and the mind moving. And then I sit down, like you, Carrie, I sit down with Kate and I have coffee and we go over what the day is going to bring. And that's how we strive to set off every day. And when I'm sitting down with my new agents, I want them to understand the importance of that. And then if they're not willing to do that, I'm not going to work with them. And that's just it. If they're not willing to hold themselves to a level of accountability, and we're going to talk about that later, and to be responsible, it is a waste of your time and theirs to sit there and to just beat your head against a wall. And I know that because I've tried to beat my head against a wall and give people grace and say, well, you know what, you were just tired. You make excuses all day long, like we do when we're lead generating. It's a stories we tell ourselves, and we'll do it with people that are new agents that we're coaching. And so it's really being diligent and saying, no, these are all things that if you're not trying, there's no reason. And I'm not here for that. And that is me, and I talk about this a lot, about me being love to me and me being love to them. Because the best thing I can do, the best way that I can love them is hold them to accountability that gives them what they say they want. And the minute we start bending those things, the minute we start diluting what it is we're trying to teach, and that leads to failure and to bad habits. So consistency is the first one that we try to teach them and let them know, but you can see how the consistency now falls into morning routine. And the mantras and the things that you're doing to support that. Already we're doing something in the morning to support the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, and the physical energies that we have. The next thing that I try to teach and work to teach with them is once we've gotten in, okay, here's your routine, you tell me what it's going to be and I'm going to hold you accountable to it. And if I don't think if it's meeting these needs, then we're going to talk about it. And we have to ask ourselves why. And then we do what I call, we go the 5 whys deep. If you're not doing something, ask yourself why. They give you an answer, you ask yourself, well, why that? And why that? And usually by the time you get to the 5th why, you actually have the real reason why they're not doing it. So the third thing that we're going to pull out of that toolbox that we have here to help new agents is storytelling. We all have somebody that lives inside of our little noggins here. We have a roommate. All of us do. And if you don't, well, we can talk about it. I bet we can find them. So we all have a roommate that lives in there that tells us things all the time. And it's helping being able to identify that and be able to help people see what it is, recognizing that voice, and then helping us understand that we need to tell that voice to move on, or ask ourselves, why is that voice continually talking to me in this moment? What is the pattern? And then how can I address that? I grew up in a very large family. I have 6 little sisters. There's Heidi, Heather, Holly, Haley, Hope, and Hillary. All from the same 2 parents. They just, I guess, were cold in the winter or something. I was the first one out. That's why my name is Aaron and not Hank or Henry. But I also grew up, so I grew up in a large family, and I also grew up in an abusive family. And because of those, and being the first one out, it was my job to protect. And it was my job to help and to protect my mom and to protect my sisters. And to, I mean, this is the kind of stuff where there's broken bones and there's shattered glass. And I'm not saying that because I want people to feel sorry for me, because it's part of who I am. It's part of what made me, and I'm proud of that. What I'm saying is that there was a lot of stories that I would tell myself about, having success suicide, and why I would continually tank things that went back to the kind of encouragement and the kind of love and the kind of stuff that I missed out on when I was younger. And I had these messages beat into me by my father that I wasn't worthy of success. I wasn't worthy to be happy in a relationship. I wasn't worthy to be any more than them, living paycheck to paycheck and just, racking up credit card debt and all of those things. And so those are stories that I had. And those are really big stories. There's also the stories when you're lead generating, or you're trying to, you're remembering you got to make your phone calls, and you're sitting there going, I don't want to call this person. Yeah, you know what? They've not answered. They've never picked up. They've never answered a text. And we'll sit there and we'll tell ourselves that, rather than, believing the other story is, well, I cannot call them and I know the answer is always going to be no, and they will never answer, and I will never get a deal from them or a referral or anything else. But if I do call them, there's the possibility. There's the possibility right there that they could say yes. And if I do enough of that, people are going to say yes, they're going to answer, they're going to call, and I'm going to find success in that. Again, with the consistency of that. And so we've got that number 1, which is trickling down continually. And so helping them identify that there's stories that we tell ourselves, and then how to overcome them. And a part of that is what I call energy flow. And I had to learn, anybody ever been on the freeway and been cut off from somebody before and just get like this, or had somebody cut in front of the line at the grocery store, and you're like, what, mother, why? What did I ever do to you? You just cut me off, you came 3 lanes over. What kind of idiot are you? And all of a sudden you're just like, you go in a heartbeat, you go from calm to just like this. And it can happen in relationships, it can happen all over the place. But what it is that we allow that negative or positive energy to get in and get trapped. And if we can teach ourselves and our new agents to let that energy just flow through you, acknowledge it, it's there, but not let it sit. And I tell them that with both positive and negative. Experience it, be in the moment, but let that energy flow through you. It's the same thing when you're dealing with a client or dealing with a cross agent. You know, all of a sudden they're reacting emotionally to something and you're just like, I'm just here to do the job. And usually the one who gets emotional first loses, in my, what I've seen. But it's teaching them to be able to let those things go. It's okay that you've gotten 15 no's or that nobody else has picked up. Let that energy just flow through you and move on to the next. And so teaching them in energy flow is important. The fourth thing that I want to bring out of the toolbox, and I know I'm kind of ripping through things here, and I have it all, I'll put this up in the chat here to see what each one of these are. But the fourth thing that I want to bring out of that is something that most people don't like to do, and I didn't like it, and that is accountability and tracking. Up to this point, I sound like a hippie. I sound like somebody that does a lot of, wears a lot of, wears a lot of beads and maybe a pouch with crystals and stuff in it. And I did grow up in Oregon, and I did have a Volkswagen bus. I had two of them, they were wonderful. But one of the things that I had to learn and had to literally have beat into me, and not literally, but I had to have really enforced on me, is accountability and tracking my numbers, so that I can honestly take a look at what it is that I'm doing, recognize where it is that I need to improve, and how I can grow my business forward. If I know that I'm doing 5 or 4 open houses a week, and I'm getting 8 people through, and I'm only getting, out of those 8 people, 2 contacts, I probably have a skill issue I need to work on. If I do that same scenario and I'm getting 8 contacts, 8 out of 8, but I'm not setting any appointments, probably a skill issue I need to work on, or a question that I'm not asking myself. But if I don't track those things and have somebody to go over those things with me, it's really easy to tell myself, I'm doing great. I got 2 contacts today. Let's go get a beer. Day's done. And so it's easy to tell ourselves stories. We do this all the time. We're like, as real estate agents, and because we can sit there and go, man, I worked a lot today. But then when we actually look at what we did, a lot of people, especially the ones that are struggling, didn't really work a lot. Boy, does that little voice like to tell us that we did. And unless we have accountability and track those numbers, we're not going to be able to use that tool to discover those things that sometimes are really hard to admit. But when you have it written down there, if I'm going over with a new agent, their numbers, and I'm going, with this, and I know if they're lying to me, if they say they got 15, they're making 15 contacts a day, and they're not having any appointments out of that or any deals after a couple of months, are those 15 contacts? I remember I went to a KW thing once, and they were trying to teach you about, go make 100 contacts. And so somebody went out and handed out 100 cards and said, I did it. I said, no, that's not a real contact. That is just somebody's card ended up in the bottom of a purse or on the floorboard of a car. So it helps us do that. So teaching them early on accountability. And again, this goes back up to the routine and goes back up to the storytelling. If we don't have consistency with any of this stuff, it's not going to do any good. And this is another area that if the people I'm trying to teach are resistant to this, if I have a new agent that is resistant to either one of these, it's a no-go. You're not on my team, because you are not going to be successful. And you're probably going to be an energy drain on myself and others around you. So, and there's more in that accountability stuff, but it's, it's having these things and knowing. So I just saw the hippies are okay comment that happened like, a couple minutes ago. Yes. So it's knowing that these things, that having these accountabilities, holding each other accountable. I have to do that with somebody. The other thing is, okay, the fifth thing that we're going to pull out of the bag here is practice. I've been doing this for 8+ years. I'm still doing script practice on a regular basis, where I'm sitting down with agents and working through what's the name. I mean, with the shifting market, we have to know how to talk about it. And not because we're trying to get one over on somebody. I'm not trying to be slick. I'm not trying to do this so I can win that and force them to the deal. My belief is, and this comes out as we flesh this stuff out more, is that my job is to create relationship and to provide value. And in doing that, I'm going to win the day. I approach everything when I have a client that comes to me. I think I mentioned this last time when I was on here too. When somebody, if I'm an open house or anybody that I run into, I'm asking myself when they come through that door, how can I be love to them right now in this moment? What can I do to bless their life? That may be helping them purchase a house. It may be giving them a smile that uplifts their day. Now, ultimately, I want to help them. And I'm going to get their contact information. And I'm going to say, I'm so grateful that you gave me this information. I look forward to the meeting that we set up, or to growing my relationship with them over the next couple of years as they prepare themselves for home purchasing. You know, and so it's always about that relationship and that professionalism and the marriage of the two that comes together. So go back to practice, like a little tangent there. So practice is important, and it's so easy for new agents not to want to sit there and feel foolish because they're across from somebody else going, no, I don't really think I'm interested in purchasing right now, but thank you, I'll see you later. And then how to handle that, you know? Oh, I don't think I should set the appointment right now because my spouse isn't here and I really need to check with them. Or I'm just looking. Or, you know, the interest rates are coming up, I'm waiting for a crash. I think it's gonna crash. You know, what's the objection? And so, but practicing that and verbally working through that with people is so important. And I even push it one step further. Film it, videotape it, watch it, learn from it. Professional athletes do that all the time. Actors do that. That's my other life and hobby is I'm an actor. I do movies and I love it. I've done it for years, and it's nothing that you've probably seen. It's all smaller stuff, independent, but it's fun. The last 3 Westerns I've done, the last 2 movies have been Westerns. They're great. But you have to practice before you get in front of the camera. And then when you get in front of the camera, you want to watch the replay to see, okay, maybe I could have done this a little bit better. Maybe if I came at it like this, maybe my body language isn't what it needs to be. And so just as, you know, encouraging them to practice. And again, the consistency flowing down over this. And the last thing that I want to bring out of that bag before we open this up to some questions and we can dive into some of these things a little bit more is the activities that you're going to do to create a successful real estate career that are specifically real estate related. So everything that we've talked about up till now, you could probably plug and play this into a lot of different businesses and stuff. And this is what, if you read most leadership books and most things on business and how to succeed, you're going to see none of the stuff is new. This has been, you know, people package it and repackage it and put different things on and add things to it. The article that I quoted from earlier today, that was back in 2007. And some of the best books I've read on leadership and on working and stuff are much older than me, which is saying something. So, so the last thing we're going to bring out of that is specifically related to real estate, and that is the activities that are going to create you business. And the ones that I focus on are open houses, your CRM, your follow-up, and there are no secret agents in real estate. I don't care where it is that I go on the Uber drive from the airport in Phoenix to our house here in Phoenix, we have their contact information. They know that I'm a realtor. I know that they own a house here, and they're now in my CRM. I've got the bar down the street. I know the bartender. They're in my CRM. I follow up with them. The person that was sitting next to me a couple of times ago, I have them in my CRM. There are no secret agents, and it's learning how to do that in a way that is comfortable and not pushy. And then the way you do that, and this gets into some more minutia of it, is you ask questions. You know, the answer ask strategy of questions. You're asking them, because you genuinely care. And so it's the open houses, the CRM, the follow-up, and no secret agent. I tell people, if they do and work on their skill sets for open houses, if they do that consistently 3 times a week, within 3 months, they will have a robust business. They're going to end up with some now business. They're definitely going to end up with pipeline business and referral business. And then that goes directly into their CRM, which is reminding you to follow up. It's sending out stuff for you, depending on what kind you have. There's so many different versions out there that you can get. But that follow-up, when you are reminded to do that, putting them into the CRM and out of your notebook, which I've got so many notebooks, reminds me that, I need to get into my CRM later today, to be honest, and I need to follow up on stuff. And then consistently doing that. And the same thing with the follow-up, consistent. And something that kind of permeates all these things other than consistency, which is very close to consistency, is your habits. With each of my agents, if they're not succeeding in doing the things that they want to do, or if I'm not succeeding in doing things I want to do, I have to look at my habits. Your habits will either make you or break you. And I can honestly say, if I'm completely transparent, the times when my business has dipped, my relationships have gone sour, or things are not going well in my life and I'm just off, I can usually point to a habit or to multiple habits. Maybe I'm staying up too late. Maybe that's my habit. Maybe I'm drinking too much. Maybe I'm X, Y, and Z. And so taking a real hard look at those habits and really asking myself will help expose the areas that are going to improve our agents' lives and our lives. And I guarantee that if you don't like the outcomes, change your habits. Full stop. Start there. What are your habits? All your habits. Don't just give me everything. And then you look at your habits in each one of those categories that we talked about. What are my habits in the storytelling or routine? What are my habits in my accountability, my tracking? And you can look at each one of those areas, the energy areas. What are my habits in my physical energy, my emotional energy, my mental energy, my spiritual energy? And there's actually, here, I'm going to put this in the chat real quick. There is a test that you can take about the emotional energy and stuff. And here is the link that runs you through a number of questions through each one. It only takes like 5 minutes to do it. And if you answer those things, there's a ways to score it at the very bottom. And it'll help you see where you might be lacking in different areas. And so it's something that I've done multiple times. And every once in a while when I'm feeling off, I might just go back through that and go, okay, maybe I need to retweak this and relook at this. So that is, I'm going to, 2 more things, and then I'm going to open it up for questions and stuff. But one of the things I like to tell people is that we are responsible to build a life that we want, no one else. The people I coach, the people that my new agents, they are responsible for it, not me. And I'm responsible for how long I'm going to hang on to them if they're not doing the work. And being very honest with ourselves about that. And not listening to that the story there. I'll finish up with this. I've got a number of sons. I've got a 22-year-old, a almost 21-year-old, and then I have a 12-year-old. And I coach his little league. We just got done with season. He was on 2 teams, and he went to All-Stars this year. He had the opportunity to go to 2 All-Stars. We just moved to a new city. It's been a rough start for him, and had some really difficult things we had to work through, some painful things, but we worked through it and we were able to discover some things and grow. he's a good player. He didn't make the All-Stars on one of the leagues because of his attitude and his work ethic. And I reached out because I knew that I figured that was going to be it, because he had a really bad attitude at the beginning of the season. And I told him, I said, you know why you didn't make All-Stars? He said, because your attitude sucks. You don't know how to take direction well. You don't know when somebody tells you to, hey, just, move over a little bit in the field, rather than giving them a what? You just, okay, thanks, coach, and you move over. And you trust the process. And I was so proud of him because he did make the All-Star team in the other league, but he had a different attitude in the other league. And I was so proud of him because he took those moments and said, okay, I need to practice more. I need to run when they say hustle. I need to get up there and accept the coaching that's happening to me because it's positive. It's coming from a place of love. And to watch him make those choices, because it's a choice, to improve that as a 12-year-old. He's in 6th grade. He's also 5'8" and shaves, which I don't understand any of that, but size 12 shoes. He wears my size shoes now. So I say that just to say that it's something that we need to teach from a young age all the way up. And for all of our agents that are coming in, teach these things, help them unpack this. So I'm going to quiet down now. Any questions, comments, ahas, things that you just like, you want to say, or whatever. Give me some stuff. Let's hear from you guys now. This is when I drink water until people say things.
That's right. Yep. We got to make people talk. A lot of ahas, lots of good things. I hope you guys are making notes. Would love to hear some ahas. What can you do with the new agents you mentor that you're bringing into your world here at EXP? The energy is not spoken about as often in your traditional new agent training and coaching. And yet in all of the top producers that I have coached over the years, that's probably the place that we spend the most time, because energetically, it affects everything from what you're blocking, what you're not allowing, what you're repelling without even knowing it. I have, worked with very top producers in funks, so to speak, can't figure out why. And it just perpetuates itself. And it's because the energy is not allowing them to get out of it. And until they can understand what is happening, to then be aware of it, to move through it and past it and correct it, it will perpetuate forever. And I think that it's easier for new agents to get into a funky energy, because there's a lot going on when you're new to an industry, when you're new to a career. There's a lot of self-doubt. There's lots of limiting beliefs. There's lots of things you have to learn. You don't feel really smart all the time because you don't know what you don't know. You are uncomfortable all the time. And so I would say that you've probably heard a lot of things. And in the mentorship program here at EXP, you have a tremendous amount of resources for tracking and training. Of course, everybody has KV Core, CRM, all the things that Aaron brought forth. But how much are you helping them manage their energy, understanding what is giving them positive energy and how to keep that flowing? And so I think some of these resources you should absolutely grab from the chat that Aaron has shared. And of course, it's a great tool for yourself. But I do think that that is something that you can do differently to go above and beyond for your newer agents, and for yourself, or anybody in your world for that matter, that they aren't hearing from anyone else. And we know that people know what to do, they just don't do it. And the reason why they don't do it is more important than what they don't know, because we can give them all the tools, all the tracking, all the information, all the scripts, to Aaron's point. And if they're not doing it, that's the greater issue. And this is really a key to coaching and motivating new people in your world, but quite frankly, some awareness for yourself if you find yourself in a place where you're not in action either. So that was a big positive reminder for me. Roseanne.
Yeah, I don't even think it has to be new agents.
Anybody.
I have someone on my team, and all this stuff he's saying about this energy, she's sucking it out of me. Like, she just needs to go. And I've been making excuses for her because she just has whatever. And I just need to have that conversation with her that it's time to go. Because everybody keeps asking me where she is, and I can't. And it's you can't, I don't want to say negative thing. It's just it's just an energy that's not good.
Erin, you have a lot of experience with, like we've let a lot of people go before. So talk about when we make that decision and when we know that it's time to let an agent go.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. First I'll say is we usually know a lot earlier than we usually let them go. We usually have a feeling it's something, and we need to learn how to trust those feelings and trust those instincts, either to address it early or to just go ahead and cut it. And it's never easy, and it doesn't get easier the longer you wait. And so what I found is I approach it in two ways. One, this is a business, it's a business decision. And this is hurting my business. It's hurting the bottom line for everybody that's involved. And we're all in this to make money. So there's that part of it. The other part of it is that I believe that in order for me to truly love that person that's across from me, to truly love yourself, Roseanne, is to let this person go. To truly love them is to let them go as well. Because keeping them there to perpetuate the habits and whatever it is they're going through and doing is not benefiting them at all. And we'll tell ourselves it is. And my God, I've done that so many times with different people. And I'll just continue there's red flags all over the place. And I've called myself, I've joked oftentimes that in my earlier life, I used to love the color red because I just collect red flags all over the place. If it's anything, jobs, girlfriends, whatever, if they have red flags, I'm all over it. They give it to me, I'm here. And I've learned to kind of, no, it's a red flag. I don't care if it's one or two, it's a red flag. And so I'm going to say no, because that's what's best for me. It's what's best for them. And then being very, very honest with them about, this is the reason why I'm letting you go. And I hope that you grow from this. And that's difficult to do because we don't want to go through it's hard for us emotionally. It doesn't feel good. But if you approach it from the other angle that says, this is what's best for them, I'm going to love you enough to have the hard conversation that you can choose then to let that help you grow or not. But that's your choice, not mine. My job is just to be honest with you in a loving way that presents this stuff. So that's.
And I think that's great. And at EXP, we're really, really fortunate because if we're building our own businesses and our own teams, we have an opportunity to still support that person because we have a vested interest in their growth here at EXP, but we don't have to keep them on our team, for an example. We don't have to keep them in our space that's affecting our energy and other people's, because sometimes it's just not the right time. It's just, they're going through things, or it's just not the right fit that's creating some tense energy or frustration that kind of manifests in other ways. And so it makes it even easier to just say, I don't think that this relationship is serving you or me, either of us. We're both energetically off, which is affecting our businesses, our, personal relationship, whatever, our mental health, our well-being. And so it might just not be the right fit, but that doesn't mean that we can't still support each other here within this organization. And you can't find your way and maybe find others to kind of, that are better fit for you to be in cooperation with, or be solo on your own and, just take advantage of what the partnership here at EXP has to offer. So it makes that relationship or that conversation with that relationship so much easier. Still hard, but it does make it easier. And when you are coming from a place of love, the biggest thing is remembering it's because you're not feeling good about it, but if you're not, they probably aren't either. So, you're doing them a favor because they may want to be having this conversation and they can't get themselves to have it, but you care enough to do it. So I like that. Yeah. What else, you guys? Yeah.
I was going to say another thing too is, and I don't know what the onboarding process is like, with you, Roseanne, but being very, very clear about what expectations are at the very beginning so that you have those expectations to hold people accountable to. And that helps too when you get further down the road. So great. Thank you, Roseanne. I appreciate you being transparent with that.
Yeah. It's not an uncommon thing.
I'm an open book. I'll tell you everything.
Yeah, I love it. That's one of the best. That's one of the best traits of a leader is transparency and authenticity. So we love it. Anybody else have any other comments or ahas or things that they're going to go implement, or maybe that they're going to do with newer agents that they're leading or mentoring before we wrap up the call? Any other thoughts? I'm going to go ahead and take the things here out of the chat and put them in our live stream, because we have a number of people live stream watching as well. Erin, just so you know, we have our group that has about 6,500 people, and a number of people are watching live. So in the summer, we find that tick up a little bit, just because people probably have a bit of a more challenging schedule in the summer, just like I even do. So I'm going to go ahead and grab these links and the things that you've shared and post them in there before we sign off, so that everybody who's watching live, you as well.
Great.
You know, I think the biggest thing is, so really quickly, because we have a minute, how are you seeing in your own business? We're just going to kind of get to a kind of a real relevant today's market, the softening of the market, the corrections happening, some of the opportunities that are going to come from this. Those of us that have been in the market for a while know there's always opportunity. We just need to adjust to it. And there's some great opportunities within the market having this correction. I don't think there were a lot of great things about the last market, so I'm happy for it. And a lot of newer agents, you know, not even brand new, but let's say the last year or so, they haven't known anything other than the most recent market. And some of us here on the call may be in that boat if we've only been licensed for a few years. So any tips in terms of managing mindset around, you know, a change in the market, or this type of transition or softening or correction, whatever you want to call it? Or what are you doing right now with your agents to kind of help keep that positivity and go find the opportunity that is always there? Anything that you could give for tips?
Yeah, first of all, just like you, recognizing there's opportunity in every market. There's always opportunity. And then in this, what we're really talking about right now is getting back to basics.
Yeah.
In knowing that, hey, I need to make 10 contacts a day. I need to be out there doing the open houses. The great thing is that now you can have the opportunity to talk to agents. You can have the opportunity to negotiate. There's things that this market is allowing us to do that we weren't able to do the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And that feels, I mean, I actually called an agent the other day and they answered the phone.
I know.
Mind blown, you know, and I got a vendor. I was able to, you know, get inspection stuff fixed. So what we're telling them is just get back to basics. Make sure your CRM is clean. It's updated. More importantly now than ever, the last couple of years, you've just been able to kind of float along. And I think we're going to see a lot of agents fall out because they're not going to know how to do that. And all this easy money is going to go away, and they're going to have to actually work for it. They're going to have to understand what scripts and objection handling is. They're going to have to practice and understand that an open house isn't just sitting there. And that you have to learn how to have relationships with people. And so to us, it's really getting back again to the basics, and which is why this is so relevant. This, you know, the new agent kit that we just unpacked, why it's so relevant to have really making sure that we're dialed in on all of these different things. And then we're going to see success, the same type of success, and even more than we did the last couple of years.
And so here's the reality, you guys. You have a technology in KV Core that a lot of realtors don't have. If they're solo agents on teams, obviously there's lots of, you know, teams that have great CRMs that people are trained on. But for newer agents that are coming in, maybe not part of a traditional team that you may be mentoring or bringing into EXP, the one thing that you do have to realize and be grateful for is that we have a phenomenal CRM. And the CRM is the foundation of every single person's business. And so the people who are out there that haven't had to rely on one, haven't been using one, and quite frankly, don't have one that's good to use, you know, certainly that is a disadvantage. And so this is a huge opportunity. Yeah, they're using a notebook, you know, and we can use both, by the way, I use both, you know, so that is really huge. I think open houses are going to be another huge opportunity. I built my entire business on open houses. In the last couple of years, we've had a real hard time doing open houses. Homes weren't on the market long enough to do them. Sellers didn't want them done. If we did them, it was just chaotic. And now we can actually plan an event and go and do that and meet people and build our pipeline. And, you know, and utilize the product that we sell to go get more business, which has always been a phenomenal back to basic strategy. The other thing I would mention is You guys, this is the other reality. In that database of people who didn't make a move this year, they still have a lot of equity in their property. And one of the safest places to put money is into real estate in any time of a recession. Look at it historically. You can go find a lot of information on this. So we're having a lot of people reach out to their database saying, if you have a lot of equity and you're not moving right now, take that equity and go build some wealth for your family. When we're going to start seeing some opportunities of investment opportunities, and we want to, are you interested? Let's get in touch with a lender. Let's do some education. Get on there and do some Zoom calls and educate your clients. Send out some videos. You can find clients, right? Just don't forget, at eXp Realty, if you become Express certified, Express Offer certified, it's free. And you know investors. If you've got investors coming out in your market, if you're connected with people who are ready and waiting for investment properties, it doesn't matter if they're small, medium, or large investors, you can refer them to our Express Offers program. They're about 2 weeks out for interviewing people and getting them into the program, just a heads up, because they do have a lot of people wanting to be in it. Remember, they get offers submitted from agents across the whole country. They can make offers. There is a fee, and you get a third of that fee, which is $800 every single time an investor that you refer to this company buys a property, whether you knew about it or were involved in it or not. It's another residual income opportunity for connecting people to our company. We are the only organization, eXp Realty, that has an iBuyer program in-house. That is a third-party affiliation, essentially, which is pretty cool. So these are just some opportunities. Who knows, as you're reaching out to people, that you run into somebody that says, oh my gosh, yeah, our family is looking at investing in quite a bit of real estate, throughout the area. Awesome. Let's talk about that. So those are just a couple of the things that I see as a huge opportunity upcoming. There's going to be more, but remember, you've got to be able to move and pivot to where opportunity is. The only way you know that is being guided by somebody or guiding your new agents in that, because they haven't been through this before, so they don't know. Right, Aaron? And Aaron knows a lot about open houses, has had major success in open houses as well. Go back and watch. He did open house for us here. It's live streamed in a little bit further down in our news feed. But if you aren't great at open houses, you might want to sharpen your skills and help your new agents do those too, right, Aaron?
100%. That's how I built my business. That's how you did yours.
Yeah.
And that's how I still teach it. In fact, I'm getting ready to, because I'm 8 years of full-time here in Phoenix. I'm now active up in Washington, and I'm getting ready to start doing open houses again because I don't have the database up there. So you'll
reinvent your business there and open houses again. Mm-hmm.
And I'm in Phoenix, and I got 4 listing appointments this week. So
I love it because you have a database.
Yeah. Because I have a database.
Go figure.
Yeah, you know what? The guy who came in from Cox Communications the other day and put in that security system on my house. He's in my database now because he's had a house since 1993 and he's got a ton of equity. And I said, have you ever thought about pulling the equity out and doing a rental or getting something else? And he's like, you know what? We were just talking about that the other day. And I said, hey, let's do this. Why don't I take your name and number? I'll put you in my database. And then I'm going to reach out to you quarterly and maybe just have a conversation. I'll run some numbers on your place and we'll just see where it goes. You never know. But I appreciate you coming here and thank you so much. So yeah, and that goes to all of you. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I appreciate you guys very much. And if you ever have any questions or just want to chat or something, information's there, but love to hear from you. So awesome. Thank you guys.
I posted it in the live stream as well, Aaron. Thank you so much for spending time. You guys, thanks for joining us live. Thanks to you guys watching in Workplace as well. We hope that you received some value. Go out there and make an impact on your own or someone else's business by offering some of these suggestions. It will make a difference. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Thanks, Haley.
Bye.
Thank you.